I was like, what? Oh my god. Shout out to Abroad in Japan, totally stole that graphic and the sound, kind of. That was my initial reaction after I watched the YouTube video Filip Zadina Star, the Czech sniper by Hockey CZE, probably Hockey Czech. When he was playing for the Halifax Mooseheads, most likely the CHL All-Star team, the Czech national team, his shot looked pretty damn good. The problem I had before I watched that video is I hadn't watched the video. Second problem was that he doesn't take advantage of his physics. I mean, on top of being an incredibly handsome Czech young man, he shoots the hockey puck like you'd expect, let me think about this. Maybe somebody that had their bicep tendons cut on both arms. Yeah, no, that's it. Phil, if you're watching, half serious. Maybe just one bicep tendon. You know, I could show graphics from the season. That would better illustrate what I'm trying to say, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk here using my hands to talk because I like to pretend I can do sign language. No, what I'm trying to say is that first goal of the season, Vancouver on the power play, October 16th, gets the puck on the power play, right circle, shoots it, you know, like this, okay? Now, he's a left-handed shot, so demonstrate that yourself if you're sitting, you know, or standing, whatever. Just give it a shot, and then raise your elbow, move your hand slightly in front of yourself, and then twist, and then ask yourself, is there a difference in the amount of rotation you're able to generate? Let's try it again, like that. See how much rotation you can get using your hips and your spine. Now, elbow up, hand out, slightly more. Try that again. See how much more torque you're able to apply to the hypothetical stick you're holding. Not only that, the amount your hips move, more flexibility, more power you can drive with your bottom hand. I noticed that in that goal, and there was a few other times where he did that, and a few other times where he didn't. Had his elbow raised on the shot against the Carolina Hurricanes. It's actually the last goal of the year. And he did this twice during the season. First time, it was against the Philadelphia Flyers. The puck just landed on his stick by chance. Skates right to left, shooting across his body with his elbow up. I think he was looking at this time. Puck went between one of the Flyers defensemen and probably caught the Flyers goalie off guard. Puck's in the net. Fast forward to April 5th, his last goal of the year, rather April 12th, his last goal of the year against the Carolina Hurricanes. He kind of did all this himself. He grabs the puck on the rush, skates down the right wing, cuts across the middle of the ice without looking, has his elbow up. He's basically, let's just say, he is perpendicular to the goal at this point, flings the puck across his body in the opposite direction that he's shooting. It's kind of wobbling and finds its way past Antti Raanta. He didn't have many of those instances like, let's say, a player like Austin Matthews or Alex DeBrincat did this year. So I want you, my friend, to go on Veritasium or go on any science education channel or even listen to Joe Rogan, who talks about this. A boxer who has a bigger wingspan has the ability to generate more torque because the radius of the diameter of their shoulders, let's just say the length of their shoulders is wider. So they turn, theoretically, the circumference of their turn is wider. So when they pull back, they go a greater distance. And then when they go forward, they go a greater distance, which allows them a period of time to generate more momentum. Whereas this goes back to the shot. When he's right here, and so he doesn't have as much time to generate the power, nor does he have the amount of torque. All right, I had to remind myself what torque is. And in the process, I realized how difficult it is to teach things. So snaps to professors and educators. Simplest equation of torque that I could find is that it is equal to force times length. What is a good example? The video that I saw on YouTube used the example of a wrench trying to pry open a nut fastened to a screw. Think to yourself, would it be easier to turn a nut fastened to a screw with a wrench that was a shorter length as compared to a wrench that was of a longer length? The answer is obvious. You will have more leverage when you use something that is of a greater length. And if you go back to the equation, torque equals force times length. If you use a constant force with the smaller wrench as you do with the longer wrench, you are going to have a bigger number of torque. So it is essentially a number that is going to tell you how fast you are going to get something to move. Now, there are situations in hockey where it really does not matter how close your elbows are when you're shooting the puck, you just want to get the puck off as fast as possible and you're not worried about the speed. That's usually when you're tapping in rebounds in front of the net. Keep your elbows in really tight. You're able to turn quicker, and the speed is really that important. But when you're shooting a shot from the circle, there is certainly an ideal distance. Your elbows, your hands need to be from your body so you can generate a higher number of torque, which is going to allow you to push the puck faster and at a speed that's going to beat the goalie. It's as simple as that. Now, there are obviously other factors that contribute to the quality of a player's shot, and the other one that comes to mind is momentum and shifting your weight from left to right. A player like Austin Matthews typically receives passes in a loaded motion, sort of like he's cradling an egg, and that allows him to move to the left of, let's say, 0 and store energy in what you would call potential energy for when he's ready to release it, exceeding the static position of 0 into the position of releasing the shot. That's one thing I'm not really touching on. And in the highlights that I saw in the video I was talking about, he certainly was incorporating the high elbow, hands away from his body, and the shifting of weight from right to left. So it's all about storing your energy as soon as you receive the puck and then releasing it in the way that's going to expel the most amount of force in the direction that you want it to as quick as possible. So that is why it is so important to be preloaded when you are receiving the puck, so you don't have to waste that time that you would have otherwise if you received the puck at a static position then loaded. You eliminate that, you get the shot with the same amount of force off faster, and that's those precious milliseconds that are going to help you beat the goalie more often. Another thing I noticed is that Zadina is ever so slightly out of position on a couple of the goals he scored this year. The first goal I already mentioned was against the Vancouver Canucks. It was a one-timer that was deflected. Surprise, surprise. He was moving backwards ever so slightly as he was winding up for the shot, and if you're moving backwards, you're generating force in this direction, so that means you have to overcome that force, and so he's losing some amount of power that he could have had if he was a little further away before he knew he was going to receive the puck, which meant that he would have been able to glide into the one-timer, so he would have been able to add on top of the force that he already had as he was skating into the puck. The second time I noticed him doing that was against the Oilers. It was like his 7th or 8th goal of the year. He was just ever so slightly out of position that when he received the puck to shoot, he was standing still. He was a little bit too close to the house, the place in the center of the ice, and he should have been a little bit further away so that he could have skated into the shot. It actually looked like it caught him off guard a little bit. So the other thing that has nothing to do really with physical ability, it's just the mental part of the game. It's being in the right position at the moment where you're going to receive the puck. If you watch Alex Ovechkin play, he's gliding into one-timers. There are instances where he is skating backwards before he shoots the puck, but he's able to overcome the instances where he's out of position. He's skating backwards into a one-timer because he's so bloody strong and he's so bloody accurate. Those are things that Zadina is really not that good at yet. The accuracy, the loading up before he shoots the puck, shooting with deception, as in where his eyes are when he shoots the puck, all those little things. He will get better at, I promise. And if he doesn't, he'll be playing in Europe dominating. Right?